What's up, everybody? I thought this was worth doing a quick video for. Reincarnation kind of makes a lot of sense to me. And I was reading a very often cited verse out of Revelation 20, and nobody ever mentions this part of it. It's about the 1,000 year reign of Christ. And honestly, I think Revelation, a lot of it is astro theological stuff. But this seems to be a vision of things to come, or were to come, and have already passed. But he says, I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for witness of Jesus, which had not worshipped the beast or received the mark on their foreheads or hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. Lived not again for 1,000 years. Doesn't that imply that they're going to live again, just not for that 1,000 years? Now, I've noticed this about the Bible too, is they throw lines in at the wrong spot. Because if you just read 5, it says, the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. That would make it sound like the first resurrection is these dead that had not lived for 1,000 years and then came back to life at the end of the 1,000 years. But when read in context, that's not who was resurrected. The souls of those that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and had not received the mark, they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. Now, just skip the first half of part 5. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. They shall be priests of Christ for the 1,000 years. So he's clearly saying that the martyrs are the ones that live for 1,000 years and not the rest of the dead that did not live for 1,000 years. But if you read 5 and skip to 7, then it all makes a lot of sense. But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished, and when the 1,000 years expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. See what I mean? That line is completely out of order. Because the first resurrection is not talking about the rest of the dead, it's the priests of Christ that reign with him for 1,000 years. I don't think it's up anymore, but I did a video a long time ago about Genesis having two completely different stories of the flood that are clear and plain as day if you just highlight two different colors on the and separate the stories. Either way you look at this, I mean, it's saying that even not the ones that are with God are resurrected and live again after 1,000 years. This is quoted all of the time, and if this is written in chronological order, then everybody pretty well agrees that we're in the time of the Great Deception and Satan loosed on earth. Well, then, if this is written in order, then that means that the 1,000 year reign has already come. Now, I'm not supporting that idea because I don't see it. How many of you guys think that the millennial reign has already happened? I might have to do a video on that. Anyway, I really like the idea of reincarnation, and honestly, I don't think it goes against anything that Jesus ever said. And honestly, you'd have to go into a philological examination to try to confirm what was being said when every time he says resurrection in the Bible. I don't know what that means, and I'm just, there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you what they think about it, but anyway, reincarnation makes a lot of sense to me because just like matter is neither destroyed or created, I kind of think the same thing happens with souls. You're all a spark of the divine. And the Hindu view on things makes a lot of sense to me, that you come up through being lower life forms and animals and work your way up to being a human. But the natural order of our reality recycles everything. The tree grows up, sucking up all the nutrients out of the ground. It falls down, decomposes, becomes those nutrients again. Another tree grows, and everything just gets recycled. And I kind of view that the same as spiritual energy. Also, it seems like the most merciful, humane thing that could possibly happen to you. I mean, just think about it. The world is rough for 99% of us. Like the Gnostics point out, this is a creation that has a lot of flaws. There's a lot of pain and suffering and all of this stuff. I think a huge percentage of us are carrying around baggage that we don't want. And I've talked to a lot of old timers, and a lot of them have a lot of regret, have a lot of pain. And even these wealthy guys that I've built beachfront property for, they feel like they wasted their life. I should have done this. I should have done that. Everybody feels that about life. Now imagine if you had 1,000 lifetimes of that piled up on you. That'd be a lot of weight to carry around. So honestly, the most merciful thing I could possibly think of is, okay, you get a fresh start. Everything is brand new again. You get to experience the world through brand new eyes. You get to play in this magical stuff falling from the sky for the first time again. The world gets to be a magical realm again. That unfortunately, in the cycle we're at right now, they constantly grind out of you as soon as possible. You get to eat delicious lo mein again for the first time. By the way, I didn't even know that you could make this stuff at home, and I looked up a recipe, and it's some of the best Chinese that I've ever had, no joke. Ruckus slurps it down too, and he's a really picky eater. But really, reincarnation seems like the most humane way to get you evolved enough to move on to the next realm. Because, let's face it, mankind is really one step above the Stone Age. Our favorite pastime is war. And just like Ruckus, he is the sweetest little dog in the world to me, lovey-dovey sometimes. But then when he gets mad, I mean, his anger is just, he's mad. But we all have that in us. We all have our flashes of anger. Now imagine if you were God level to where you could instantly manifest things. It'd be a pretty scary world. A lot of the Hindu stuff does make sense to me. You know, the samsara, we're just here stuck in this world trying to evolve out of it. And you can't let a tiger loose in a dinner party, you know, we being the tiger to a higher state of being because we're still have violent and deceptive, selfish, greedy natures. And here's something I've thought about quite a few times is this the most profound secret ever being kept from us? Because think about it. If everybody knew that reincarnation was a thing, wouldn't it be really worth it to work hard to make humanity better in the future? Because right now we've got the 0.01% that own everything. And I've also thought about some of those rituals they do. Do they have like reincarnation rituals? Is that what the sex magic is all about? So that they either reincarnate into specific bodies in certain families, or they got some magic where they can reincarnate and remember all of their past lives. Interesting thought. But with them doing their whole reset and trying to absolutely enslave humanity, what if everybody knew that they would reincarnate and that you have absolutely nothing to fear if you spend a few lives making this world a better place? Wouldn't it be worth it to spend this one life to make the next 100 lives better? I would think so. I think the world would be a completely different place if everybody knew for sure that we reincarnated. I mean, the whole plant a tree theory, you know, plant an apple tree so the next generation can enjoy it. I think if everybody knew they were coming back to do this over and over again and said, hey, wait, we've got 300 families here that own everything, and I'm going to have to come back and pay another mortgage and do all this again. Or if 100,000 of us go liberate all the resources of the world, and you guys that do live use it to make this world a nice place, then yeah, I think people would be down for it. So yeah, I think that this would be a very important secret to keep from the masses if a select few knew that this was what was going on. I don't know, just a thought. Static out.